It's the Curiously Insane Podcast. Tyler T with the facts.
What it do, what it be, it's your boy Tyler Trancy here with the Curiously Insane Podcast, where we find out what fires people up, and in doing so, we fire you up to find your Everest and climb it, because baby, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight the dog. Let's go, bro! So today, we have the honor of bringing on guest Ryan Shank. My man Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on this evening.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Little bit of a segue into how I met Ryan. When I started my filmmaking journey, Ryan did a super dope thing, and I'm guessing, I believe there was help from others, so it wasn't entirely you. But you started a film festival called the Red Rose Film Festival out of thin air, right?
No, well, thin air maybe is what everybody saw, but it certainly wasn't what made that air possible.
Well, I'll tell you what, I guess it was just serendipitous, happenstance, whatever you want to call it, coincidental. But, you know, I had, like, it was the spring of 2019. And I'm like, oh, man, you know what? I'm going to shoot a short movie, like, write it, get locations, like, not one of the 48-hour film festival contests like I had entered in before for VidJam. But, yeah, and see if my buddies and I, you know, we can act in it. And it'll be polished and all this stuff. And we shot that that spring of 2019. And I'm searching for film festivals, and I see Red Rose Film Festival, the inaugural film festival, is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I start looking into this. Bro, I love what you did. If you want to explain to the viewers a bit, like what I saw was, man, you got a bunch of businesses in downtown Lancaster on board, right, to screen films, to bring people in. I loved your idea. If you guys were trying to generate tourism and a film industry in Lancaster, right? And I don't want to keep speaking on your behalf, but if you want to touch on that, what was your motivation for starting a film festival when there wasn't a large film festival like that?
Well, and there were other film festivals that had been established in Lancaster, and they'd been doing a great job, and they were doing it to a scale of giving filmmakers a chance to showcase their short films or their stories to a certain extent. But when we started the Red Rose Film Festival, and I want to give my co-founder Ian Long a shout out, because I couldn't have done it without him. We developed this film festival to be, I'll give you this. Our tagline from the beginning has been global perspectives for local impact. When we worked with the golf championship together. So he's actually the creative director. He has been couldn't do what I do without him. But when we worked with the golf championship, I was far more focused on the sales and marketing aspect, and he was focused on the creative design of the event itself. And we took those two aspects and we combined our expertise to create the Red Rose Film Festival. But the actual business model was always around the idea of being able to impact not only artists or filmmakers who had films out there that they wanted to show at Sundance, trademark, or at Tribeca, trademark. Sorry, guys, don't sue me. But to give an opportunity to Lancaster as a community that really has, over the years, created a hub for talented, creative, artistic perspectives from all different walks of life. We have wonderful universities, colleges that have perpetuated artistic expression for years. And they always had to go someplace else to express what they had learned or what they figured was the canvas that they had to paint on, which are your typical New York, Los Angeles, and now more so Atlanta. These are places where you had to go find jobs. If you ever wanted to be creative, if you wanted to be a director or a director of photography, or if you wanted to be an editor, you had to go find your job in one of these big cities. Our purpose was to give a platform that would allow artists that have come from here to leave Lancaster, create their reputation, bring that back here, and that would create an opportunity for our small business community, as well as the tourism community, everything that creates an infrastructure of a small town, to benefit from what a film festival could do by bringing filmmakers and basically showing off what we have to offer.
Dude, I love everything about it. Number one, I'm fired up, right? Number two, dude, like, I just love the way your mind works in that it's just a great concept. And to get something like this, like to get it, propel it and get momentum and get it going, you understand the business aspects behind it. Like, dude, we need to help generate economy. We need to help. It's just easier to get people on board when they know, hey, everybody gets to benefit from this festival and from this. And I love that, just the idea of, wanting to bring, say, Hollywood or whatever, or New York here to Lancaster, man. Because I remember, bro, when I started shooting, like going from a cell phone, and then a cell phone on a gimbal to a camera on a gimbal. By the time I got to the camera on the gimbal, like a year into my filmmaking journey, I think even then, so it was like 4 years ago, I'm like, bro, I'm bringing Hollywood, like, here. Like, I don't need to go to Hollywood to make, like, polished, professional, studio-grade films. And it's insane here 4 years later, man, I got my first documentary through Dockside Media called Conscious Contact Full Disclosure, and it's.
I have questions about that.
Okay, then we'll table this.
You and Chris on Wrecked, which was the film that you submitted to the film festival in 2019. You've continued to collaborate with the same people, and that is a business model, as far as filmmakers are concerned, that is very, very important for filmmakers to understand. Anyways, continue. I apologize.
No, dude, that's it. We can get into conscious contact, full disclosure, that kind of stuff later. But I love what you said there is right, man. Like, one, I think people do need to believe in themselves, and they would shock themselves if they really tried and were passionate about something, that they can get better at it, and they can get better at it quickly, right? And then get good results. The other thing is that you need to be humble and know where your strengths are and your weaknesses, right? And so, like, for me with filmmaking, man, dude, I can edit short stuff all day long, but a feature length, like 69, 71-minute documentary, I don't know. That's Chris Rupert. He's built for that, man. That is what. And Chris Rupert's graphic design is sick. And same deal with you guys creating this Red Rose Film Festival. Is like, oh man, what a perfect match between you and Ian, right? To facilitate something like this. Like, it would have been very hard for you to do it on your own.
And I never would have wanted to do it on my own. And again, I give all credit to Ian for it's important to have someone who's not exactly like you to bounce ideas off of, because then they'll challenge you. And that's what collaboration is, and that's what filmmaking is. Filmmaking is a collaborative effort. It cannot be just one person's perspective. A director can take all of the individual parts and pull them together so that you're able to have let's use a sports type of metaphor. A quarterback can throw the ball, but if he has no one to throw to, you're not going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with filmmaking. And the person who spends their entire day on finding the right person for the principal role or for the antagonist, I'm speaking about casting.
Yeah.
The director is charging that person with finding the exact right person to put in front of them to collaborate their vision for who that role is going to be personified by. And when it comes together, holy Hannah. And everybody's going to fight about, if we talk about the big budget films, everybody's going to fight about who that person should be or whatever. Who cares? But when you're emotionally affected by a role, by a moment in the film, the shot, it's like, okay. So, for example, and this is being maybe a little bit, patronizing for everybody who's seen movies, but you remember when we first saw The Matrix, and Neo did that like back-breaking move to avoid the bullets?
Oh yeah, I knew where you were going way before you even said it. Everybody knew that. Yeah, exactly.
We hadn't seen that before, but
it's iconic.
But that was a collaboration of many, many people, and that's where filmmaking and the exhibition of film has to humble itself, in that everybody, no matter what they're getting paid, is the sum parts of that vision, that collaboration.
Absolutely.
So
beautifully said.
And that's the same thing for the film festival. We're the people who are involved in it, whether it be the people who are supporting it, whether it be the people who are putting it on, whether it be the venues, whether it be the community, the filmmakers, everyone, they're all collaborating to create an experience so that when people come back to something like a film festival, they say, the next time I create a vision, I want to share it with that community because they love what I did last time. And that's hopefully what we can do moving forward with all the films that we shared in 2019, the ones we shared in 2021, the ones we'll share this year in 2022.
Yeah, and for the ones that you're going to share in 2022, for any filmmakers watching this, they've got time. Is it May 1st is the early bird? Or what's the deadlines for submission?
Early bird is May.
Okay.
The regular deadline, I believe, is July. And then the late is August, end of August, August 22nd, I believe.
I just double check. It's August 15th for anybody.
August 15th.
August 22nd is the notification date, I think.
We moved that forward. You're right. And that's because we've decided to take what we did in 2021 with the what we called the Unforgettable series. And no disrespect to anyone who wants to do a digital series or a digital film festival, and with all due respect to COVID protocols, we always followed the COVID protocols and making sure that everyone was safe and all of that. But I did not feel comfortable, one, asking sponsors in 2020 to support a film festival after April. We did have sponsors that had sponsored from January to April, and they were ready for the 2020 Film Festival. I had asked them, would you mind if we just moved forward from 2020 into 2021?
Yeah.
And then from there, I did not feel comfortable asking businesses, individuals for donations or for sponsorships because everybody was hurting.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
for what we had in 2021, what we did was we took all the films that were accepted in 2020. We notified the 2021 filmmakers. We only had 16 films submitted when we shut everything down. We let them know, listen, we're going to showcase just the 2020 films, and we're going to create a film series called the Unforgettable series, which many of our experiences in 2020 were forgettable, or at least sadly unexperienced,
right?
Because we didn't get to experience moments with our families, with our friends. And I thought it was important to share the films that were submitted and accepted in 2020 with a 2021 audience. So we took all of those films, and we rented with the money that we had on hand. Yeah. We rented out every Thursday, so Zootropolis Cinema Stillhouse, and we said, "Yep, no cost. Please come and enjoy the films that were accepted during the time that no one could have seen them in the way that we and they, the filmmakers, intended." To see their films in a theater in front of a live audience. And then after we did that, we had filmmakers from Los Angeles, from New York, from Florida, from Atlanta, from all over the country flew in to share their films with our audiences, and even just local audiences. We had two wonderful films from Lancaster. The film Calf Rope, and the film Marionette Land. And those two films were very popular, but our local filmmakers had an opportunity to share their vision with our community here in Lancaster for free, and and say, this is who I am. I love being a filmmaker. I love sharing this with my community. And that was it. So that's the true platform. So when I say stuff like global perspectives for local impact, I mean that, and vice versa. I mean that as like local perspectives could create a great global impact as well. And that's the whole point of the film festival, is to give our filmmakers an opportunity to share their work. Like 2016, you started TT Productions, and you built up from there. You're a local guy. I mean, you went to Enfield High School. I went to Lancaster Catholic. And we're building out our dream from a place that is not traditionally built for building this particular dream.
Yeah.
But it's getting there. And the more and more filmmakers have a platform to understand how production and how tax incentives, and if those are filmmakers from outside of our area are bringing their films here, it gives filmmakers or young people who are just trying to understand their craft an opportunity to, maybe they want to hire local, and they want to hire a PA, or they want to hire just an editing assistant.
Right.
And that gives a leg up to everybody else. So the purpose of the film festival is really just an economic development play against a small business ancillary sales play, against a tourism play, against an education play, because we have four really. Actually, so there are 4 institutions, and God bless if I don't give any that aren't on this list. But F&M, Millersville, PCAD, as well as Um, oh shoot. Oh shoot. Steve. Oh shoot. Shoot. I don't want to say it incorrectly. The
Stevens
trade
Tech?
school. Thank you, Stevens
Yeah,
Tech.
yeah, yeah.
So anyone who thinks that a trade school is an is not going to be a direct line into being a filmmaker,
Right.
you're wrong. You're
Huh.
you design of stage, production design, uh, having physical skills, you can have a career in film. 100%. You don't have to
That's a
be in
great
front of
point.
the camera to have a wonderfully successful career in film. I guarantee you. And we have the resources here. So if we are able to bring filmmakers here through film festivals like ours, or the Reading Film Festival, or the International Short Film Festival, or the ones that are in our
Yep.
community, they bring filmmakers to Central Pennsylvania, which should be our goal, which should be our focus.
Yep.
Because someone like Tyler, if you're able to bring in amazing talent who want to come here to Central Pennsylvania as a director, they're gonna lift you up. They're gonna
Right.
say, I trust Tyler to be my DP. And that's what we want. And in no way, shape, or form am I uh, a creative mind from a director standpoint or from a physical production standpoint. I wish I had done any of that stuff, but I didn't. I have a marketing degree from St. Joseph's University. Heyo, Hawk will never
That's
die.
what's up. Well, bro, I would never say net like, here's what's up. Dog, yeah, I have a marketing degree from Shippensburg. I have zero directing, writing, acting, editing, filming. I have none of that experience, right? So, like, by you starting this film festival and watching submissions and all, like, and just being, I assume that you're into filmmaking or into like movies in cinema in general, or always had kind of an interest in it. Whenever it happened, bro, if you have that interest, man, I think you could easily start training your mind to like think like a director. I think you would surprise yourself, dude. If you just went and directed something, you would be able to do it. I guarantee it.
And well, it's the 10,000 hours, right? And I would say that you probably have your 10,000 hours of watching film, let alone just experiencing life. And film, in my opinion, is a culmination of different perspectives, um, from a very young age. Everything that you've experienced in your environment, in your culture, in your community, all of that, and building up towards something that you can create a moment in time for an hour and a half that people can say, I relate to that. I relate to it. That makes sense. And then
Yep.
it creates a critical conversation. Kind of like saying, like, who's better, Christian Bale or Robert Pattinson? Or and you and I could, have you seen the new Batman yet?
I have not. I have not. I've heard good things.
We
Let
can't
me
fight
ask you
yet.
this: I got an 8-year-old son. What's your opinion on an 8-year-old watching it? A little too scary or graphic, or what are we looking
It's
at?
dark. It's dark. Has he
I
seen the
probably
Dark
won't. I
Knight?
don't like. He
Has he
hasn't seen the
seen?
Dark Knight. He's seen
Then
like
if he
all
hasn't,
the
if he hasn't
Avengers
seen,
or all the Marvel movies, right? But they're not terribly dark, you know. Like Dark Knight was like, I remember that was dark. Some of those scenes are a little,
the
I could
the
see him
build
getting
up,
spooked.
the build up for the Nolan series and for this newest film.
Yeah.
If I'm and I have a 1.5 year old, and then we're expecting a second boy in June. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's
But
what's up, man. Oh, dude, you'll be good. Dog. They can play with each other. I only have one kid. I'm like, oh man, I wish it'd be great to have two, but like, I don't know. I'm just the type of guy like, if my kid wants to play, I gotta play with him, man. I can't let him. Like, there's sometimes I gotta do work or whatever, but most of the time,
I'm with you.
I'm just like,
I'm with you.
I gotta play. But now that I'm getting up there in age, dude, we're both like, yeah, I'm almost 37. It's like, bro, man, I'm gonna like hurt myself on doing some of these tricks on the trampoline, and like Andy's getting strong enough where like he puts me in like a guillotine headlock. It's like, oh, bro, I actually might go out here. I'm having trouble breaking this.
Can we not do this?
Yeah. So it's only a matter of time.
But I would say give that a minute. If you haven't let him watch The Dark Knight yet, this film, it's not overly vulgar or anything like that.
Right.
But it's dark and it's violent, and they pull a lot of their inspiration from things that you could look up in old headlines and be like,
I got you.
That's a little too close. Even though a lot of it is based on some of the earlier Batman comics. So, and in all fairness, my favorite film of all time, and then probably I'll get judged for this being my favorite film, but it was The Dark Knight. I've seen everything. I have a. Do you have movie posters anywhere in your house?
I do not. No.
Okay.
I know.
So
I'm for a filmmaker. What am I doing with my life?
I mean,
neither here nor there.
Yeah, exactly. I've got. So here are the ones that I have in my basement. I've got Jaws. And the reason being, I am, for anyone that knows me, terrified of sharks, because I saw Jaws for the first time when I was probably 12, maybe 11 years old, and I have been terrified since. So I look when I put decoration like that up in my house. I look for films that have impacted me. They might not be everybody's favorite, but they impacted me. They didn't have
personal to you, yeah.
So it's Jaws, it's The Dark Knight, it's the Avengers Endgame, which surprisingly enough, that may shock some people, but you remember that moment, and you have a son. You remember that moment when he's telling his kid, like, I love you 3000 and all that? Breaks it. I'll tell you what, breaks my heart. I find that movie emotionally moving, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then going around the horn, Rocky. Went to school in Philadelphia. But the original Rocky. And then the show Entourage, good, bad, or indifferent. The eighth season of that. I loved Entourage because when I was coming out of college, Entourage was ending and I was getting ready to move to Los Angeles. So I thought,
tailor-made for you, yeah.
And I thought, although I'm probably more of an E than I am Vinny Chase.
Gotcha.
And then as you go around, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds is my dude. I have a man crush on him. Actually, in all fairness, if I had like a wall of shame, just friends with Ryan Reynolds would be up on my wall. You remember when he was the fat guy? And
yeah.
And
he's got a great personality. He seems like a great dude. From what I can tell on Twitter and social media, I mean, he just seems like an all-around down-to-earth cat.
I'd love to meet him. I'll do my best to not fanboy over that, but if I get an opportunity, great. And then Logan. I was a huge fan of Logan. I think more so that I grew up with the character, and I thought they did a wonderful job in wrapping that story up. And then the last three are Training Day. I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan.
He's a G. He's great.
anything that he's done. But that was his first Oscar, um, and
Sure.
or in a leading role. And I love that film, and I've watched it many times with my cousin, who he and I have watched Remember the Titans probably 30 times.
Oh,
And
another
then
great flick.
the last
That gets
two,
you pumped up to.
oh, it does. And then the last two, Saving Private Ryan, um,
Ballin'.
and then the final one is Hook. And Hook, and I've shared this with my wife, and I've shared this with anyone. Like, why did you name your son Jack? Why do you care that Jack was the name? I had to think about that for years, but I've always said I wanted to name my if I had a son, I wanted the first son to be named Jack. And I was like, okay, why is that? And then
Huh.
as I went back and watched Hook, Peter Pan's first son's name was Jack. And I was like, I get it now. I am Peter Pan. I've got a Peter Pan
Dude.
syndrome.
Yep.
Trying to grow up, and I came back to reality for my son. And
Life imitates art.
I'll tell you, man, I've got my 10,000 hours in watching film and making it. I again, no, I don't deserve to say that I know how to make a film, but I do have a lot of time watching films like the ones that I just mentioned, but a ton of them that are independent films that are just so moving. And the more and more we go through this process with the film festival, um, stories that are true to life or at least a mimic a real story, they hit the hardest these days. So
Good point. Good point. Well, I'm thinking we'll I got to talk to Chris Rupert with Dockside Media, but man, I feel like we'll throw some. We got to check our like distribution uh, deal and whatnot. Just I think we can screen them at film festivals. But dude, so we'll segue back to this. The Conscious Contact Full Disclosure, right?
mhm.
That documentary we got picked up comes out. The release date got bumped, but now it's April 19th. Okay? April 19th.
Okay.
Then, yours truly, birthday on April 20th. Then, April 21st, The Ghost of Gettysburg. We just got the release date today. So, bro, I went from no films, like, distributed
To a bunch.
to two, one before my 37th birthday, one the day after my 37th birthday. And it's like, dude, same deal. Like, bro, I couldn't have scripted this or written this any better. And it's just, it's sick, bro. Like, I love your passion and energy for watching films, and obviously, you're surrounding yourself with films and starting a film festival, like with the help of someone else, but just creating like a vision. And oh man, dude, yeah, we will definitely submit some docs. Here's another one we got. It's called Second Chance, right? We that one we have not. The distributor didn't want to pick it up. They said it was a little too niche, but we might. I don't know. I'm talking with another distribution company to pick that one up. But that's a neat one where a gentleman by the name of Christopher Dreisbach, who's like a local entrepreneur, and he like started this second chance program where people who get, I think it's a non-violent like drug and alcohol offenses, they can be given like a second chance by going through like treatment. I think it's like a rehabilitation over incarceration is their tagline. And so I ended up filming that over a couple years, and we just finished wrapping on that and have it all cut up and everything. And it's a good doc. It's not in line with all the other Dockside Media stuff, which I will say is dope, dude. All that stuff we're cranking out, man. If you're into paranormal stuff, if you're into stuff that's just like mysterious, kind of like, dude, Conscious Contact Full Disclosure. We got UFOs, aliens, experiencers, telepathy, consciousness, and that's like 5 stories of 5 different people interwoven, right, over 69 minutes. We've got The Ghost of Gettysburg. Same deal, bro. like, I don't have any experience really with ghosts with Gettysburg, other than what I learned in school. I think I went there once when I was younger, but like, dude, we just had this idea of, man, this will make a great documentary. It's close, it's easy to film, right? I can drive out
I
there
love it.
and just start putting out social media posts, man, for like, hey, who wants to do a camp out at the haunted trails of Gettysburg? And just, dude, it's sick, man. Just like pull in threads, bro. These docs, I think the next one might be on remote viewing. We have In Plain Sight, the intelligence community and UFOs before that, which we're like halfway through filming. I'm trying to get like 2 or 3 other big name former intelligence officers right now. So think good thoughts that I land those interviews.
Question. When you're developing these documentaries,
I got
your first foray into some of the paranormal, specifically, I'll give you some context.
Yeah,
there are too many times that I watched Unsolved Mysteries and thought to myself, "Oh my God, I'm going to get abducted by aliens."
Oh, they do a balling job, dude. They crushed it. So I think you cut out for the I had a hair of audio issue. I missed the very beginning of your question, but then something about diving, and then I heard the end about Unsolved Mysteries. I don't know if it's my internet. My camera looks clean.
I don't know why I lost you on the.
You don't have
audio.
Do you want me to like boot you and then you click that link and drop back in? You feel me? And maybe that'll restore the video.
But I can't hear you, unfortunately.
Oh, now you can't hear me either. Oh, this is going downhill quick. Okay, cool. You removed yourself. All right, so we got one person looks like watching right now. We got a little technical difficulties. No big deal. We're going to get him sorted. Oh, here he's back, baby.
Yep. Sorry.
Bang. No big deal.
Apologize. So
it's all good.
I asked you about. So for me, it was Unsolved Mysteries.
Yep.
For you, it may have been something else, but like we grew up in the X-Files era and that kind of stuff. That was like Harry and the Hendersons. Do you remember that?
I do. And which reminds me, we have a doc that Chris is cutting right now. All the footage is done. Secrets of the Sasquatch, which it would be similar to Harry and the Hendersons. Dude, we're doing all of those dope things. How did I get into it? Man, I've always been open-minded, but I've never been one to really research into any of these topics. Sasquatch,
nothing
ghosts,
wrong with it, doing
aliens. No, nothing. And then, Chris Rupert was over the summer, just like, early August, just mentioned about, hey, dude, do you want to start making documentaries? Maybe we can get them on YouTube or something, get a little bit of ad revenue. I was like, oh, yeah, dude, that sounds cool. And he was like, yeah, so it was like, okay, how about the 7 Gates of Hell? It's like this local legend in Pelham Township. If you go through these like 7 arches at night or after midnight, after the 7th arch, you're instantly transported to hell. So I'm like, okay, well, that's close. Yeah, that sounds all right. So I started like reaching out to the property owners, that kind of stuff, trying to get that set up. And then on Reddit, I just happened to stumble upon this interesting, interesting story by this lady, a former Department of Defense intelligence officer, Anjali, who was like doing a press conference down in D.C. in front of like the Lincoln Memorial, saying that she had met aliens in this base in the Mojave Desert. And I'm like, yo, Chris, dude, if this lady's going down and she's going to do this in public in front of everybody, I was like, man, I got to be there. And I was like, yo, I think, I'll go get it and we'll figure out what to do afterwards. But people will be interested in this. So we just logged the footage. And then I'm like, yeah. And then whatever. The thread, dude, the stories have been finding themselves. One thing led to another. Yep. Started reaching out to other. I'm like, bro, what about Conscious Contact Full Disclosure? He's like, oh, dude, that's balling. Let's do it. And yeah, we just build it all out. I like get all the interviews, log all the footage, cut the trailers quick, dump it all on Drive, and Chris Rupert goes to town with like the graphic design, getting the poster done, editing the entire feature. He like sends it to me for revisions, and it's just, again, this great collaborative process. And to be honest with you, bro, neither Chris nor I watch a ton of documentaries. I really didn't watch many X-Files episodes. I did like me some Unsolved Mysteries. I did like that. But nothing that really like stuck in, like that it influenced how we were, how we made this. Dude, we kind of went by gut and by heart and by passion. And after the fact, kind of looked at some other popular ones that had been UFO documentaries released recently. And we were just pleasantly surprised that we had just like a very good model and storyline. I mean, dude, I'm flying the drone, getting ballin', gnarly drone foot. Like almost all of our footage, like, was shot. Like, a lot of these other documentaries are all just stock images, right? You just load up stock images, you write narration over it, you put music behind, you do the end. It was like, oh, dude, we've got just all ballin'. I mean, bro, we've got a buddy named Adam Hartwick with Shadow Alley Productions who like collects and does reviews on costumes. My man got a legit alien costume. We're filming legit alien B-roll. We were just out filming legit Sasquatch B-roll because like Unsolved Mysteries, dog, like that B-roll and that image helps tell the story. We're not trying to mislead anybody. You're not going to say, oh, wait, hold on, these dudes got legit alien footage? They've been sitting on this? It's like, no. Like, you'll be able to tell, like, dude, this looks dope as shit. And this helps tell this story, right? It helps convey the emotions, and it helps get people engaged. And, oh, dude, it's been a gnarly experience. And, yeah, dude, I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3 docs done, cutting the 4th. So, again, we're getting experience. And as, like, we continue to build out, we think of new things, we think of new ideas, to just try and continue to get better, right? And so it's fun.
And that's what you do.
Yeah. I think passion and heart can take you like pretty far. Like just the effort of trying, man. We didn't have everything mapped out before we took this leap. We just went, and we knew that the story would reveal itself. And so far, man, we're shooting 5 documentaries later. It's done it every time. We're going to keep going.
That's incredible. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to documentaries, or if you're doing commercial work, or if you're just doing a short film in your backyard, if you know who your end audience is and how they can benefit, even if it's just entertainment, that's a huge win across the board. Again, whether that be for to push forward sales, or to push forward awareness, or just to push forward your perspective on a day-to-day basis, that's what filmmaking is about. It's about taking that perspective that someone is either paying you or not paying you to do, and saying, this is a part of me. Here's how I perceive this topic, this piece of history, this piece of not history. I mean, you can't give a filmmaker too much grief for picking a subject that matters to them. You have to sit back and say, okay, I agree with the perspective, or I don't, or I find it entertaining, or I don't. And what I think is so important as we move forward as a filmmaking community, either in Lancaster or just across the board, is creating an opportunity for critical conversations. If it's something that's going on as far as world issues, or even something as simple as, hey, do you think that was Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But creating a critical conversation is what I think most filmmakers are hoping for. Whether it just be for conversation to say, like, oh, that's the best Batman in the world, or I think that's a cause that I really want to be a part of. That's what film has the opportunity to do. And I think the more filmmakers that are aware of why they're doing what they're doing outside of fame, and I'm going to say it right now, and I really don't care what anybody thinks. I used to think when I was starting my career, I wanted fame.
Okay.
I think it's now. Maybe if I had it to an extent, then I would have a different perspective. But now that I have what I have, family, community, all of that, do I need it? No. I don't think fame is why most filmmakers do what they do. People who are truly trying to create something special, they don't do it for the accolades. In a lot of ways, they do it for themselves. And they hope that people can appreciate what they did. And then the accolades for the that perspective in its most true form will allow them to continue to make more and more projects. If that makes sense.
It, man. Yeah. I'm picking up with what you're putting down, man. And I'm always, I always try and be like, whatever, down to earth enough to just realize, like, bro, man, everybody's got an opinion, dude. Everybody has an opinion. And it's like, dude, I'm making this stuff, like, for the people who enjoy it. The people that don't like it, well, cool. Like, what do I care? Like, I'm not making it for people who don't like it, right? Like, I'm making it for people that, are going to enjoy it. And what I've loved, about like, a lot of what motivates me and what motivates Chris is, like you mentioned earlier on in the podcast, is just that ability to create some sort of emotional connection to, or change in a person based on their viewing experience. And I know, dude, like, it still flips me out to this day. And it's why I'm so excited for this Conscious Contact Full Disclosure to get the full release on April 19th is because, like, dude, we had like a fair number of pre-screeners watch it and they didn't believe in aliens. They had zero interest in aliens. And they left like, yo, everybody needs to see this. This is insane. They're like, I'm not saying there's definitely aliens out there, but I don't know. Right? Like, I went into this like, no, I don't believe in any of that stuff. So it's like, and it's sick too, right? To know that, man, people are just, like, everybody has their own individual preferences and things that they like. So it's great, man, to have 5 different people interviewed throughout this documentary and to hear, like, the different feedback of who their favorite was, right? Who the favorite cast member was, like who they related to. And it's one, it's a beautiful thing to just, it's cool to just see these like these people be inspired, man. Like my dad, when he watched it, bro, he watched it, and this is before we had the dish. He's like, Ty, if you do not get a deal for this, like, he's like, I'll go out and sell it for you right now. And I know nothing about film, I know nothing about sales, but I will go do that because this is ballin'. And dude, it's just sick. Like, because I watched a ton of movies with my dad, and there very few have I ever afterwards seen him that, like, inspired, charged up, motivated, right? And so, like, what a cool experience to be able to maybe have some effect on people's lives.
You bring up a really good point, though, and not everybody has a traditional support system as far as, like, their dad will sit and watch movies with them, or their mom or their aunts or uncles or sisters, brothers, whatever. It doesn't. But that being said, having when you're a creative mind, you should consider always being open to the support of others, and you should always be open to the support of um, people who believe in you. You could always say, like, you're sitting down with your dad and you're watching the work you're doing. Um, Take in all of that mentorship as a young filmmaker. Mentorship synonymous with support. There are going to be plenty of people who don't have any idea what the hell a film means to you,
Right.
or just a script or even a commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not going to know what the hell that means to you, but the fact that they believe in you enough to say, keep going. Um, there's a lot. I'll give you a little anecdote. I sat in the office of a major talent agency in Los Angeles. This was years ago, and one of my friends who had gotten a job with them was fortunate enough to put me in front of one of their agents, and I showed up to the interview as a
Right.
talent, as an actor, and I thought I was supposed to show up to an interview wearing a suit, a tie, put your best foot forward.
Right. Right.
And I got there, and the first thing that this person who's probably younger than I am now said to me, "What the hell are you wearing? This isn't how an actor dresses. This isn't how a creative dresses. This is now you want to be an actor? You want to be an actor in LA, and this is what you're going to be wearing to meet someone like me." And they started to start punching, like, you'll never have a family, you'll never have a wife, you'll never have kids, you'll never really have the life that you want in this town. And to an extent, getting hit over the head with some serious
Right.
reality is one thing, but to the actor, director, writer, producer, editor, the ones that are really, really focused on that aspect of life, that's their passion. Ground your passion in logic, but let the logic be yours, not someone else's that told you this is where your anchor sits. Because you may be able to drift a little bit further than what that person thinks your anchor should be. If that makes sense. So don't give up too short on your dream. Ground it in reality. And if you think you gotta pivot to drift just a little bit further, you can still have a career in any aspect of this wonderful industry. It just doesn't, you just don't have to be in front of the camera to be a star. If that makes sense.
Nah, man, that all makes sense. And making these documentaries, like I told you earlier, right in the beginning, it was, oh man, hopefully we can get them on, maybe we put them on YouTube and get some ad stream, dude. I think it was, I shot the interview August 17th, or the press conference down in DC on August 17th. I think I ran back home. I can't remember if I had the trailer edited that like afternoon or the next day. But by then, I was like already, I'm like, Chris, bro, we're getting distribution. We're getting this picked up. And Chris is he's much more grounded. And Chris, he like looks into he's asking all the these other people that he knows that make documentaries. Oh no, dude, there's no, you guys, it's just like, no, that's not what you do, man. you'll put it on. No, you just put it on YouTube, and you'll get whatever, maybe $20 or something, or you'll get like $100 through Tubi or something like that. They're paying high rev now, and I'm just like, bro, like, well, like I see what we have. I see what other people are making. I'm like, dog, we're there. Like, what? Yeah, why are we not swinging for the fences, man? So I'm just like, oh, I'm down with you. It's like, oh, dude, I don't know. If you believe in yourself, you just keep going, man. That's the only person that really needs to think you can do it. And don't. I mean, it's great to have support, but
exactly. But one thing that I've always I hate to use the word belief. Belief is not. That's a definitive. I believe can't be changed.
Okay, right on.
But an idea that I've always had is that a filmmaker should, like a CEO, a director is a CEO, in my opinion. They understand all facets of how their film and their vision is created. And if they had to step into said position, whether that be DP the whole way on down, they understand that this is what I need to make my vision a reality. If you're not willing to put in the work to understand all aspects of how your vision is created, then you're not ready to be a filmmaker.
Touche.
And that includes the business side. Until you're ready to pay people to do that side for you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a wonderful industry, and I love films and filmmakers. People probably will say after this, you're like, well, why the hell aren't you making films? Well, I made a decision. I made a decision about my life and how I'd like to continue to focus my attention and what knowledge I can give. And also, I chose to be more focused on supporting my wife and my family in that aspect of our goals, and being someone said to me recently, and this goes for filmmakers who think that they're not able to bring anyone into their camp as far as like a spouse or a partner or whatever.
Right.
Everyone who has climbed a mountain has always had a base camp. Something they come back to and know, after I've made this dream happen, I will go back to my safety, the thing that grounds me. And that's where I look at partners in life, in the 9 to 5, in having kids. Like, you don't have to have all of those things, but know what your base camp is and don't compromise it. Yeah. And then climb your fucking mountain.
Right on. Dude, I love it.
I have no idea.
No, what were you going to say?
I have no idea if any of what I'm saying is making sense, but
oh, dude, I think it's inspiring people, man. I mean, bro, kind of to segue off that, you said, oh, right, well, so I didn't ultimately become a filmmaker, but I am, you certainly have your hand in the industry with the Red Rose Film Festival and all that you do there. But so also being a family man, right, and being into marketing and branding, do you want to mention your other business, Tiny Estates, I believe? Is that correct?
Well, yeah, that's the other side of what I do. But Tiny Estates was was kind of the same thing in a lot of ways, where a small idea became a lot of hard work, developing the infrastructure of what became a career. But my wife um, started doing one thing, like we've discussed. We've started in marketing.
Yeah.
She started in accounting, forensic accounting.
Oh, okay.
And after leaving um, that corporate backdrop,
Right.
on her own volition, um, she decided that she wanted to explore um, entrepreneurship in regard to tiny homes. And over the course of 5 years of business development and due diligence,
Yeah.
she was able to find home or find land that could um, be from a zoning and uh, from a building code perspective
Right.
viable to start a tiny home community in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, which we functioned as an Airbnb all the way up through the COVID era through 2020, and she and I handled all the day to day operations, which included everything, which included cleaning all the homes after
Yeah.
all of our guests. So we functioned like a hotel, and now we are a more focused campsite that is all owner occupied, or at least long term rentals. Um,
Oh, nice.
and we're continuing to build out that business model, and hopefully be able to continue on that to other states and other sites around the country. So it's been a hell of an education, but again, um, like I said, you know, as much as she supports me in being able to do the Red Rose Film Festival,
Yep.
I come back and I give her the support she needs when she needs to download, at the end of the day,
Yep.
ideas and thoughts with regard to tiny estates. So I'm as I look at people who are trying to find their career later and later in life, um, I think it's really important that you focus on what you need as a professional, as a business person, but also if you're looking for a partner, I mean, at the end of the day, find someone who is going to challenge you to be the best version of yourself.
Yep.
Do the things you don't want to do. I hate a lot of the accounting and business aspects that go into the film festival, but every film has a line producer. So if you're a filmmaker and you want to get married to someone who, if they're not in the industry or understands look for your line producer. That might actually be some. Look for your line producer, because you can be creative for days. Line producer or just a producer in general, because
Yeah.
they're gonna be your push. Um, I mean, shit. There's no right way to do this. I don't think there is any right way to do any of it. So
No, I would agree. And I love the encouragement to, man, I don't think, for anybody watching, anybody listening, bro, like, yeah, you're just never too old to learn something new, especially in this day and age, the information age. Like, you know, um, when that casting agent or whatever kind of gave you, I was punching down at you, not, not being super encouraging, right? When you had that casting call. Like, bro, if somebody would have, like, when you walked out of there, I was like, hey, where are you going to be in whatever it is, 10 years? Um, bro, you would have never said, oh, I'm the director of the Red Rose Film Festival for the third year,
no,
and also helping run Tiny Estates. Um, community.
No, not at all.
We started out of nowhere, and we'd be down to expand it, right? So it's like across the nation. I mean, and so I just like the the message in, oh, dude, like don't be afraid of change and continuing to move. And a lot of times I will keep myself in a bad position based on what I think others will feel or think about it, right? Like, oh, well, if I go take this chance, or oh, if I don't do this, man, what are they going to think, right? And so I've just really been trying to embrace, like what is best for myself, my son. Now I have a girlfriend, so yep, and like you said, and a significant other. I need to take them into account as well. But it's like,
good for you for picking
who am I trying to impress?
You picked a creative too, so God bless you.
Yeah, oh, dude, she's awesome, man. She's dope, man. I love it. She's a great photographer, and very.
I told you I
do
my
supportive.
I told you I do my research.
You do. I'm impressed, man. I am very impressed. You did quite the due diligence on this.
I respect the fact that you take the time to not necessarily learn, but just to gain perspective from other people. And I think that's what we need to do across the board.
Dude, I'm picking up what you're putting down. No, absolutely, man. I feel like, we're the sum of all our experiences, bro. And like, if I'm living your life, I probably have the same, or if I'm living in your shoes, I have the same attitudes and opinions you most likely do, right? And if you're walking in my shoes, you might have similar attitudes and opinions and so I just always try and be respectful. It's like, oh, dude, who cares if somebody, right, has an opinion of something that's like not super favorable to me? Like, oh, dude, somebody likes grape bubble gum, somebody likes strawberry. Like, well, who cares? Like, bro, to each their own, man. As long as you're not out there like intentionally causing harm to people,
correct,
bro. Go live your best life, man. And I hope other people see you living that life and they're inspired to go, man. Try and be a little bit more genuine or be a little bit more themselves and enjoy this process, bro. Because, man, dude, now you and I, right? You're like, oh, dude, class of 2003, class of 2004. We're getting old, like not old, but to the point where it's like, bro, we're seeing on social media feeds, oh gosh, so and so passed away last week, right?
Yeah.
Or so and so, their child passed away last week, and that stuff, dude, is a real quick reality check. Like, bro, this life is short, man. I'm not guaranteed anything. So if I just want to go plod along and just keep my head down and try not to like whatever, just cause like as few of ripples or waves as possible, like, dude, I can, but I can also go out there and try and just embrace life, dude, and enjoy this and take chances, man, and try and get a distribution deal and try and, dude, just be spending money getting on plane tickets and all this stuff to go film all these people with no guarantee any money is coming back, right? But I'm like, dude, I believe in this. This shit's fun.
There is nothing wrong with a calculated risk. And that's something that's so important is if you make a calculated risk, if you jump off a cliff and you don't have a parachute on, you're going to die.
Right.
But if you jump off a cliff and you've got a parachute or at least a way of making your way down, then you can say, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, there are going to be those crossroads where you're going to say, like, oh, if I go left, this could go wrong. If I go right, this could go wrong. That's fine. No one has ever been uber successful without taking a risk. There's no such thing.
Yep.
And that's what being a filmmaker is. You're taking a risk on yourself to an extent. So do you believe in yourself enough to just say, okay, I can do this? However, there is one thing that I will say to all of that.
Yeah.
The people who believe in the filmmaker. They may not understand film. They might not understand um, how film investment comes back. If you are a filmmaker asking people for their money to create your project, treat that relationship and that money with respect. That's
a great point.
That's all I ask is you are a fiduciary. You have a true responsibility to take care of the money that is handed to you to create your vision. They may not expect anything back, but don't just say like, that's not how that goes.
Yep. That's a very, very good point. To any filmmakers out there, trying to raise capital.
Because if you respect where the money comes from, the money does come, it does keep coming if you treat it with respect.
That's a very good point, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Ryan, is there anything else, man, you want to talk? We've been rolling for an hour and 11 minutes, dude. This thing just flew by.
I loved it.
Let's see. Dude, any like parting words, man? So, what's the Facebook and what are all the social media sites they can find the Red Rose Film Festival and Tiny Estates?
So, Red Rose Film Fest on social media, Instagram, and on Facebook, and then Tiny Estates, Tiny-Estates, Tiny_Estates on Instagram and on Facebook. Our two major sites, redrosefilmfestival.com, tiny-estates.net is our website there. But otherwise, just keep an eye out for the film festival. We are closing the submission dates on the 15th of August, and we are going to be showcasing all the selected films from September 1st to October 6th. Every Thursday night is Zootropolis Cinema Stillhouse from 7 to 10. And then on the weekend of October 15th, we are going to showcase all of the nominees for the 8 different categories. We have 3 new categories: Best Director, Best Performances, both female and male. Those are 3 new categories, but the other categories, all cash prizes. So again, visit us on Red Rose Film Fest at filmfreeway.com to submit your films. But otherwise, we will see you either September 1st through the 6th for all those films selected. And for those who are nominated for awards, we will see you the weekend of October 14th and 15th, 2022.
Dude, that's sick. And let me say this, man. When I went, and I don't know if you're hosting it, if the award ceremony's at the same spot, but bro, when I went in 2019, like I said, I was like, yo, this is classy, bro. You guys are serving hors d'oeuvres and everything, man. I'm trying to think where it was in the city. It was stadium.
It was in 2019. It was at the Ware Center. The Ware Center.
Yes, the Ware Center. And it was sick, dude. So beautiful.
And they were fantastic partners. Unfortunately, they're unavailable for the weekend that we're talking about, but we do have a surprise. We do have a surprise for everybody as far as what the venue will be. So that'll be coming up. So stay tuned, and we'll go from there.
Yep, and any filmmakers out there also, he dropped it in there very, very casually. Not too many people caught it. But that's right. I forgot the other thing that really caught my eye with the Red Rose Film Festival. Cash prizes, baby. Cash. I was like, dude, I remember seeing that. I'm like, when I'm like, dude, we're doing rec. We got to submit to this. I'm like, bro, this is their first year. Look what they are giving away. This is insane. I'm like, yo, these people, these are business minded. They know how to generate interest and capital. Like, I just from the beginning, I knew you guys were good, man. Because that's right. I completely forgot about that cash prize, and that hopefully some other filmmakers out there. And like you said, we're not doing it for the money, but bro, that's a nice little lottery ticket or what. If you believe in your stuff, you want to go have a fun time in Lancaster, engage in the local community, inspire other filmmakers, and maybe walk away with a nice check, dude. It's worth it. It is worth it. So, bro, thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much, Tyler. Dude, you're doing a phenomenal job. Keep it going.
Oh, thanks, dog. Thanks. Well, like I said, man, seeing what you're doing inspires me to keep going, bro. Absolutely. So I'm going to keep on keeping on.
Likewise.
So
thank you.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to end this broadcast. Until next time, keep on keeping on.